Well,
nope.
This is probably the biggest one, right?
97% of the audience said no.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does anyone hate blinking more than Mike Tomlin?
Is this a repetitive question? I feel like I've heard this before on the show.
80% of the audience said no. And has Mike Tomlin ever blinked? 92% of the audience said no. Those are the polls. Wow. There weren't as many as I thought we were going to have to catch up with.
Yeah. Dan's not here.
No. I'm waiting. I'm getting Bubbles from Schefter here. I asked him who would win in the fight, him or Green.
What do you guys think of Bubbles? I love Bubbles. When you see it, it's like, oh, they're talking.
Yeah, but then the bubbles go away, and that gets frustrating.
Worse.
Yes, yeah. Like they're there, you're getting a response, and they decided to forget it.
It's like, was that a glitch, or did they just stop?
No, that means they were just like, it was just sitting there. They were kind of looking at your text, but not really. It was just kind of sitting there, and then they finally like, oh, yeah, no need to respond. Go away.
We have a bonus poll. Wow. Sugat's learned how to tweet out polls from his Twitter account at Sugat790. Question is, all right, good. Yes is the winner at 68%.
All right.
Y-I-S.
You have to show me how to do that again.
Yeah, you already forgot, I'm sure.
Oh, man. Greg, you're embarrassed about your fantasy loss this weekend?
Oh, my God. Well, first of all, the worst thing is losing to a fake Levitard team, auto-drafted.
This was the Dan Levitard Show on ESPN Radio.
We live in a racist country.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hiring can be a challenge. As Quotable co-founder Gretchen Hebner discovered, Gretchen needed to hire a game artist for her education tech company, so she went to ZipRecruiter.com, posted her job, and found the right person in less than 2 weeks. How? ZipRecruiter's technology finds people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. It's no wonder 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. That's ZipRecruiter.com/DAN. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. I'm Davis Allen with your UWF Argos update. Rich the Kid wasn't the only one lighting up the crowd during UWF's homecoming as the Argos football team dominated Delta State 48-3 on Saturday night, moving the Argos record on the season to 4-1 with a perfect 3-0 in Gulf South Conference play. Austin Reed completed 15 passes out of 24 attempts, throwing for 262 yards and 4 touchdown passes on the game. Shamari Mason added 2 more touchdowns and 101 yards on the ground, while Dimitri Birch led the receivers with 2 touchdown catches. Defensively, the Argos racked up 4 sacks on the quarterback, while David Richardson had an interception. Next up for the Argos, they will relax this week as they enjoy their bye week before they get ready to hit the road for West Georgia on October 19th. West Georgia takes on North Greenville this Saturday. I'm Davis Allen with your UWF Argos update for ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
You can imagine how happy we all were. My wife, our 3 kids, and I have found the perfect apartment to rent.
My school is right down the block?
Yes, it is.
Mommy, can we go to the park anytime we want?
Anytime we want.
So you can imagine trying to answer all their questions after the landlord turned us down.
What happened? Why can't we live there?
Why not, Papa?
What was I going to say? The landlord doesn't want families with kids in his building? We made a call to HUD and found out that being denied because we have kids is illegal. We got answers. We got help.
And we got the apartment.
If you think you've been discriminated against because of your familial status, race, color, religion, national origin, sex, or disability, call the HUD hotline, 1-800-669-9777, or go to hud.gov/fairhousing. File a complaint. Make something happen.
Fair housing is your right. Use it.
A public service message from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... A message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom. Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Friday nights in the fall are a magical time. It's Friday Night Lights, where new stars are born, where agony meets victory. ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM and sister station News Radio 92.3 AM 1620 brings you all play-by-play coverage during the week's best matchup. We are football. We are Friday Night Lights. This Friday night at 7, West Florida travels to Pine Forest. Hear it right here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM.
On Wednesday at the Cat Country 98.7 News Radio ESPN studios, we're going to host Cookout for a Cure.
Pensacola Egg Fest is cooking. The meats are provided by the Butcher Shop, and we got beans and coleslaw provided by Sonny's Barbecue.
Buffalo Rock Pepsi stepped up to do the drinks, and all of the proceeds, 100% of it, will be donated to the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk and the American Cancer Society in an effort to help increase the survival rate of women with breast cancer.
Please order your plate now at catcountry987.com.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. WEBY Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola. Welcome into the program, ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM. I'm Joe Ford, joined as always by Coach K. Stevenson. Talk football with Coach K, live every weekday from noon until 1. And joining us all again is Eric Vidrine in studio as well. And guys, glad to be with you here as we have a football game to dissect, and what an interesting game it was as the San Francisco 49ers dominate the Cleveland Browns from start to finish, and a lot to take away. Tevin Coleman coming back for San Francisco, giving them a nice two-headed monster at running back with Matt Breida, who took the first offensive snap for the 49ers, 85 yards for a touchdown, and more problems for the Cleveland Browns, specifically Baker Mayfield. Statistically, has to be his poorest game as a professional quarterback. And Coach, you were on the 49er train from the get-go. You picked them to win the NFC West, and so far the 49ers are really showing a lot of people just how quickly things can turn around. And it seems like they have such a good partnership between general manager and head coach John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. We know of Shanahan's coaching and play calling ability from his time at the Atlanta Falcons, and it didn't take them long to really turn things around. They have Jimmy Garoppolo, who you are very high on, and they have drafted very well, specifically on the line of scrimmage, and just a complete dominant performance from them yesterday.
Yeah, it really was. That total dominance is the right phrase to use, because everything from the quarterback to the offensive line to their defense, a big playability. My gosh, what kind of speed they have too in that backfield. I mean, that's 4.2 something. That's killer speed, and you get the big play off that. Cleveland, they continue to shoot themselves in the foot as much as anybody. I've seen. They've got talent. My God, they've got talent. But Mayfield, and I will say this again, I don't mind saying it, needs to keep his mouth shut, act like an adult, and go play football. He's acting like a kid, like a little league kid who's trying to say my kids, my guys play better than your guys. He's just he's ridiculous. He's embarrassing, and not shaking hands with the other people, well, anyway, it's enough said. But he is he's not playing well, and he needs to concentrate on what he has to do, and get that done. So anyway, that's my take. I think they were completely outclassed, and the 49ers are the 49ers, and I'll tell you what, they're going to get better during the year.
Yeah, big matchup coming up on Sunday for the 49ers as they take on the LA Rams. And Eric wanted to let you chime in here as well as, again, 49ers, they went in and they've had top draft picks the last couple of years, and both of which they have gone on the defensive line. They took a Nick Bosa last year, and what a pick that is turning out to be, as well as DeForest Buckner several years ago. Also the Thomas from Stanford. So they have built along the line of scrimmage, and then they were fortunate to find Jimmy Garoppolo available via trade. And again, just speaks to I think a cohesiveness from the top down. As we see teams been in dysfunction for decades, and the 49ers seem to really be on the same page and really pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, and let's not forget they went 4 years in a row going defensive line. Add Eric Armstead from Oregon into that group. They got Quan Alexander from LSU via free agency from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then someone I'm a huge fan of that I think is one of the most respected players in the league, and Richard Sherman, who acted as his own agent, decided to stay within that division and bring some leadership over there to show them how to win football games. So they definitely got things going. Let's also not forget Jerick McKinnon, who's another good running back that they have with the 49ers, who's also able to catch out of the backfield like Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida. They're definitely set up for success for the long-term future, because I truly believe in the NFL, as the Giants have shown in Super Bowls, you get a nice established defensive line, you're always going to have a chance to cause problems. We were talking a little bit off air. I would like to see them get a true number one. There is projected to go 7 first-round picks in this NFL draft. I think if I'm the 49ers, I would like to target a bigger guy, since you have a lot of speed in Pettis and Goodwin, and also Deebo Samuel. Try to go get maybe a T. Higgins out of Clemson, get a 6'4" body in there. That way you have another big-time receiver to go with George Kittle. And this team is definitely going to be a team that them in Seattle, I think, are going to be back to like they were about 5 years ago when they had Harbaugh and Pete Carroll with those phenomenal defenses going toe-to-toe. I think the division's going to run through the 49ers, and they're only going to get better. Like I said, they are going to be able to get another true number one, and they'll be able to get McKinnon back. But they definitely have a lot of underrated weapons out of the backfield. And remember, Matt Breida was undrafted. So the 49ers with John Lynch, they're definitely doing their job and scouting talent and developing them accordingly. So they're definitely going to be a team to watch for the future and for years to come.
And Coach, there's obviously a lot of different ways to build a team, but it seems like the 49ers have been taking an approach that it's hard to find fault with. They're drafting at premium positions. They're using, I believe, free agency the right way, in that they're getting guys for specific roles, but they're not overpaying. But they're drafting on the offensive line, and they're drafting on the defensive line, and then they're filling in gaps, and they're not making the huge splashes in free agency. They trade for a quarterback that again you're really high on. It seems like the 49ers are just one of these teams that they're just going about their business the way that the majority of teams should.
Yeah, you're right. I'll tell you, they're taking advantage of the only avenues that you have to make your football team better, and that is through the draft. Number one, I still consider the draft being the number one avenue for acquiring talent, and the other is a considered approach, meaning you really, really make a good decision on who you're going to work on in free agency. And price has a lot to do with it because you protect your salary cap, which gives you a chance then to keep your football team level. But it's so important. People don't understand that. For example, good example of the Colts. The Colts are set via cap to be good for 10, 12 years in the future. And they've got money stored there in that cap that they can take care of their football team, continue to grow, bring on other people. If they want to go out and make a big splash in free agency, they can, which they may want to do to put them over the hump if they get to that point where they feel like one or two players will put them in the Super Bowl. But back to the 49ers, they're doing it the right way, and you hit it on the head. They're using free agency judiciously, and they're doing a good job there, and they're drafting extremely well. I like the way they're doing it, and I think Lynch is just doing a beautiful job. Keep in mind, Lynch is a very, very bright Stanford graduate, and has been around the game. Key component here. The guy's been around the game in every aspect of the game. So what better qualification could you have? Certainly better than some guy who's never done any more than wash a jockstrap, becoming a general manager somewhere, telling you who could coach and who could play. And so anyway, they're doing a good job, and they're set up to do well in the future.
And Coach K, to your point, you were mentioning that you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL towards the end of the season. And remember, whenever they made the trade, they immediately offered a contract extension to Jimmy Garoppolo, and a lot of people were giving them flack because they give him $25 million a year. Well, with us seeing the type of money that Dak Prescott is requesting, this is starting to look like one good bargain on the 49ers' part, because you got Jimmy Garoppolo for 4 or 5 years at $25 million with the salary cap only set to increase. And everybody knows that's your most expensive position in the NFL is the quarterback position. So the fact that they got a top-tier quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo for that type of price is only going to make their team better in the long run.
And that is a good point. Good point.
And the other thing that I would add, and this is something that the 49ers organization made a decision, and when I look at organizations that I would want to, if I was able to play for, or if I was able to coach for, it's stability to me is so important. Yeah. And the 49ers made the decision when they hired John Lynch and they hired Kyle Shanahan was that they gave them both 7-year contracts. 7 years. And in a day and age where, it's such a what have you done for me lately, I mean, the 49ers are sinking or they are swimming with these two guys. And also when you have the luxury and you have the 7-year contract, I mean, there's very little pressure to kind of go out and make those big splashes that may work out, may not, but it's such I think a burden that's not there on the coach and your general manager in trying to build a team the right way, because in the NFL it's you've got 3 years or you're gone, but the fact that you have a 7-year contract for both your general manager and your head coach to build this team the right way, and we're seeing that now in I believe this is year 2 of the regime. Year 2 or 3?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, year 2. But I mean, to be able to turn this thing around that quickly and just have the security, and you're right. I mean, having your franchise quarterback locked up for $10 to $15 million less than what the market value is right now for a quarterback. I mean, that's huge as well. And now the other side of that, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. We thought that they may had some momentum. They were able to beat the Ravens last week, and they looked really good doing it. Coach, I would ask you, talking about Baker and just the offense, it just seems like there's something aloof, there's something missing there, and was it just something schematically that the 49ers were able to do, or is it just something deep-seated, rooted in what the Cleveland Browns are trying to do offensively that just isn't enabling them to kind of get going?
Combination of the two. Usually it's a combination. I think they game planned extremely well. And if you noticed, they kept him in the pocket, made him throw out of the pocket. Little guy, make him stand in there with the trees and throw the football. So he's got to find lanes. He also, if you notice in the ball game, now this is something that other people are going to take advantage of. He has quick feet, what we call quick feet.
He likes to get out as soon as he can.
Exactly. He doesn't like the pressure at all, and he doesn't really try to find the lane and throw. He's not quick enough on the throws most of the time, and then he doesn't like the pressure. He tries to get out, and he's in trouble. And then when he does, and he makes some terrible decisions on where he throws the football. So now those things are correctable. They can be corrected, but most of that. But right now he is not. I liked him. I have to preface, because I've said on this program, I liked him when he came out, because I think he's ultra competitive, and I think he's a gamer. I think he knows, just such a competitor that he invites winning in the door. He's that type kid. But you can be that way all you want. But there's certain things. That's where the National Football League brings you down to earth. You can't be just a great competitor. You've got to have certain skills. You got to have there's certain parameters that you have to fit within to be good, and then you've got to take it to another level and learn how to be effective against the very best players with the best schematic or the best schemes that you're going to face. So he's having those problems right now.
I was looking at Twitter this morning, and Nick Bosa, who is certainly one of the standouts on the defensive side. He had a couple of sacks, a fumble recovery, but he said that it was obvious to them that not only did he say that Baker Mayfield was uncomfortable, he used the word panic. He said Baker Mayfield was panicking back there because...
You could use that term.
Yeah, I mean, he was panicking back there because, we talked about the 49ers defense. I mean, you've got Bosa, you've got Armstead, you've got Thomas. I mean, all these guys 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and did a great job of keeping him in the pocket, which is exactly where Baker Mayfield does not want to be. He's shown that over the past few weeks, is that, he is quick to escape, especially to his right. He loves rolling out to his right to try to see downfield, and they weren't letting him getting outside. And you have 6'6", 6'7" guys that are just right there. We don't hear that a whole lot from guys like Breeze and Russell Wilson, and how there's certainly a skill to, number one, I guess being that short and playing that position, but number two, being able to stand in there, knowing that your defenders have 4 or 5 inches on you, and you're still able to make a good throw from the pocket. And Baker Mayfield hasn't shown that right now.
Nor does he have the innate skills of Russell Wilson on getting out of the pocket. Russell Wilson makes more plays out of the pocket than he does in the pocket. But if you allow him to stand there, he'll stand there and do it from within the pocket. I didn't mention, and I'm remiss by not mentioning, Bosa. He looks unbelievable. I think this kid's going to be all pro, triple time.
Yeah, him and Joey both. I mean, it's something in the.
You're smiling because you're an Ohio State guy.
Well,
here.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't totally unexpected for the Bosas to be able to do what they're doing. I mean, and Chase Young is the next one kind of off the assembly line for Ohio State, and I'm sure there's 1 or 2 coming after that. So yeah, I mean, you take pride in that. But I mean, it's 49ers they know what they're doing.
I honestly thought that the Bosa pick was the safest pick in the draft, just because you have a brother and a father that you can look to, and you know what you're getting.
The gene pool, yeah.
Yeah, it was a safe pick, but not safe in that it wasn't a great pick. You know what I mean? It was, that you're getting a stud coming in here.
Yeah.
And when you add that onto that line, I just thought that was a phenomenal pick at 2. It was a no-brainer because they were talking about trading it. And I didn't think they should have, and I thought they should have got Bosa. They did, and we're seeing what's happening.
Oh, and then the year before, they traded out of the pick that the Bears moved up to take Mitchell Trubisky, and then the 49ers go ahead and they just take, Solomon Thomas,
who they would have taken
another
at
one
2.
of those guys, and yeah, it's just a smart way to just manage your team and manage the situation. So the 49ers again improved to 4-0. Them and the Patriots are the only 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. Take a timeout, come back, more news and notes from around the NFL, college football, and we'll have our updated power rankings. I'm officially done with the Dallas Cowboys. So more on that coming up. Talk football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Geico presents Monster Counseling.
Dracula, tell me how you're feeling.
No one understands how lonely it is. No one will even let me into their house. I knock and I knock, but they ignore me.
Uh-huh. What else?
I look in the mirror and I don't even see myself anymore.
If you don't see yourself clearly, can you really expect others to?
I'm having a breakthrough.
It's not easy to be a vampire, but with Geico, it's super easy to switch and save hundreds on your car insurance.
It's happening. Wherever plays are being made, tickets are being sold, and fans are lining up. ADP is designing a better way to work. With industry-leading HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, more companies rely on ADP than any other HR partner to help step up their game. From small business to global enterprise. See how ADP can help you and your people achieve what you're working for at design.adp.com. ADP, always designing for people.
The Paul Feinbaum Show.
Everything you wanted to happen hasn't happened.
Oh my gosh, that's all any of y'all want to talk about is Alabama.
You're really not understanding the conversation, but anyway, we can move on.
Alabama's dynasty has just begun.
Hold on a second, Charles. Somebody wants to talk to you.
I don't want to talk that compelling moron. He's nothing but a lame-headed old man.
2 till 5 every weekday afternoon. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're out of your freaking mind, cowturd.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Kane is in the building.
Talk football with Coach K, live every weekday from noon until 1 o'clock. Joe Ford, Coach K, and Eric Vidrine in studio here, getting you all up to speed on everything in the National Football League. College football, big weekend as we have 4 games this weekend featuring ranked opponents. We'll certainly get into those as we go on later on today and certainly throughout the week as well. Just some news and notes from around NFL and college football. Quick turnaround for the New England Patriots coming off of the Sunday win over the Redskins. The Giants fell to the Minnesota Vikings, and for some reason, guys, the Patriots every single year are supposed to have a first place schedule. I put that in quotations, but so far that has not manifested itself. Now, thankfully, they play in the AFC East, which has proven to be a dumpster fire outside of New England and Buffalo. But they have the Giants coming in to town this Thursday, and statistically, the Patriots' defense is on pace right now, an even better pace than some of the historic defenses that we're all familiar with, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens from a scoring defense perspective, as they've only given up 2 touchdowns in their first 5 games. And now the Giants coming into town, not likely to have Saquon Barkley. Evan Ingram, outstanding tight end, has a sprained MCL, not likely to play as well. Sterling Shepard and Wayne Gallman also dealing with concussions as well. So the prognosis is not good, Coach, for Daniel Jones on Thursday night.
No, that's for sure. I think we're all aware of that. But still, it's going to be interesting to see the kid play against a football team like this, under the circumstances being the only game in town on Thursday night. Huge game for him. So I think it's going to show us a lot about the progression that they're making some progress with the Giants. It's tough to see, but they're making some progress. Now they got a long way to go, obviously. But as long as they keep on track right now and don't drastically change the course, don't worry about the outcome of games right now. But it's hard to say, but just play by play, do the best job you can, play by play. They will get better and better as the year goes on, and then they'll have a chance to bring on additional talent. And so we're going to see that. We're going to see that happen. I've got a lot of faith in what they're doing.
The other team in New York, the New York Jets, will have Sam Darnold back as they take on the Cowboys this Sunday afternoon. And Darnold now cleared from his mono illness. Has been out for a month. So the Jets get Sam Darnold back. I don't have a lot of confidence, though, even with Sam Darnold back, that everything's just going to be sunshine and roses moving forward, because, there have been other teams that have gone through issues at the quarterback position. The Panthers are playing a backup. The Giants have moved on from Eli. They're playing Daniel Jones. There's other teams that are dealing with quarterback issues, just like the New York Jets have, but they have been so inept offensively, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I just don't think Adam Gase, I think he's kind of out of his element as an NFL head coach, and so I'm not expecting a huge difference for the Jets, but they do have their starting quarterback back in Sam Darnold. But do you see much, if any, changes coming for the Jets, or are they still going to be kind of lagging behind?
It's an interesting point and a good point you make. I think Darnold, as I said when he came out the draft, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. I don't think he has great quarterback credentials and innate ability written all over him. He's going to be a serviceable, good quarterback. I will project that within 5 years he'll be a backup somewhere. That's just my projection. I think the Jets are going to be. It's going to be very difficult for them to climb much higher than they are right now. And I would agree with you on Gates. I think he occasionally looks like the deer in the headlights, and you can't do that as a head coach in the National Football League. You just can't do it.
Eric, what are you thinking over there, man?
Well,
About
I know
my Jets.
Well, first things first, I think the future is a little bit brighter than what people would see on the surface, just for the simple fact that you do have some really good studs on defense. And as we saw with 49ers, you can turn it around really quickly if you know what you're doing in the draft, and if you were able to get some marquee free agents. But right now, without Darnold, everybody knows that the ball's going to Le'Veon Bell, so it's easy to prepare for that, because you can't be one-dimensional. You heard Adam Thielen touch on it. You can't be one-dimensional. I mean, that's what defensive coordinators want you to do. So I think, they do have some good weapons with Robbie Anderson, who could take it over the top. And when they did get Darnold back, I think that would be more of a fair assessment moving forward for what their future is going to hold. I'm not 100% sold on Darnold as a franchise quarterback just yet. But at the same time, it's hard to really evaluate when you don't even have all your bullets in the chamber on offense. So just give them some time. I think this season's obviously going to be one that's going to get flushed down the toilet really quickly. So let's just get a fair assessment of what we need going into the offseason so we can build onto that. But getting Darnold back is huge, because he's a huge piece of what you need to evaluate your season moving forward.
And looking at college football, University of Florida quarterback Kyle Trask, according to ESPN, is progressing along, had a sprained knee during the win against Auburn, and Florida's certainly going to need his services against LSU on Saturday. And Eric, we have not spoken since since Florida played Auburn.
Yeah.
You had Florida winning.
I did.
had Auburn winning, and I was way wrong on that. So congratulations to you, sir. But looking ahead now, as Florida heads into Death Valley, the real Death Valley, as LSU fans would call it, to take on LSU.
20 minutes from where I grew up.
Yeah, number 5 versus number 7. As our resident LSU expert,
yes.
What do you see out of this game?
So I'll explain it like I explained it to you. Remember when we were talking about the Auburn matchup, I said home field advantage is going to be so huge, right? And it turned out to be a big deal, because the place was booming over in the swamp. Now, what worked for Florida is going to work right against them when they go to Baton Rouge. I promise you the people in Baton Rouge could drink more beer than the people in Gainesville. So when I tell you that it's going to be booming in Death Valley, it's going to be booming. So I do think LSU is going to win before the season started. I told you I expected Florida to split that series whenever they go against Auburn and LSU. And so far I had them beating Auburn, but I had them losing to LSU. And until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to stick with that projection. But game day is going to be in Baton Rouge. It's going to be exciting. I've been to a game day in Baton Rouge before. It's a great experience. I know it's about 3.5 hours away. For anybody who's a big Florida Gator or LSU fan, it's definitely a trip you can make. But overall, I think that LSU's offense they're not going to put up a crazy amount of points, but I don't think Florida's going to be able to outscore LSU by any means. So with the place booming in Baton Rouge, and I know how rowdy those Cajuns can get over there, I expect LSU to handle business. But it's definitely a good win for Florida. Everything that I expected them to do against Auburn, they took care of. And Trask definitely played well. I know a lot of question marks were around him because he played against a Tennessee team that wasn't very good and a Towson team that wasn't very good, but he still looked like the same quarterback. So let's give him his credit where credit is due. But I expect the LSU Fighting Tigers to handle business.
And Coach, for the Gators, your Florida Gators, being an alum, we both picked Auburn last week, and I think in a lot of people's minds, mine included, was that the performance this past Saturday kind of validated what a lot of people didn't see coming. And so now, as we kind of look in, me especially, now that as I kind of look at Florida in a different light than I did a week ago, now going into LSU, I'm still on that boat where, well, that was nice, but it can't happen again. And that's kind of where I'm at heading into LSU. So what does Florida need to do to be able to pull off the upset on Saturday?
Well, this is a totally different ball game, totally different approach that I think they'll take. Now, one, I think they have their quarterback position more stable with Trask than they had before. So that's a plus. Florida is a good to very good defensive football team. This is something people have not recognized yet. And I'm going back through last year as well. They played without that defense. There's no way in the world they end up winning what they win 9 games last year. Yeah, 10, I think, including the bowl game. Their defense is going to be able to hang in there with anybody, which gives you a puncher's chance. That's all I'm saying. I don't think they have a legitimate fighter's chance against LSU in Baton Rouge. But and we'll be picking this game later on. It may change, depending on what happens. But I think the LSU, and I said before the season, I said, as Joe Barrow goes, so go the LSU Tigers. He has proven to be everything and more. And you look at him now, when he came from Ohio State, transferred down, he had a very short time to get ready to play in the Southeastern Conference. And last year was just, I think, more of a catch-as-catch-can to get through the year. He improved some as they went through the year, but he still had a rough time in spurts. He now has had the additional time, a full spring in the summer, and another coach who's bringing a more pro-oriented passing game into the fold. And you look at what he's doing. And listen, this kid is playing lights out, and I got to give him all the credit in the world.
We'll take a timeout, come back, and we will go through our weekly power rankings for the NFL. Any big movers and shakers, we'll find out. Talk football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
When you're juggling multiple things just to get the job done, sometimes equipment on your work site sits idle or will be used for something else, like your skid steer being used as a bird bath or your excavator becoming a back scratcher. But idle equipment costs you and your work site time and money, which is why United Rentals is combining equipment, data, safety, and expertise to help your work site perform better. To learn more, visit UnitedRentals.com.
Don't you hate scrambling on the road when you're looking for a place to spend the night?
We all do. That's why when you travel for work, stay at La Quinta by Wyndham.
They've got everything you need to tackle the job, from free high-speed Wi-Fi to a spacious workspace right in your room.
Plus, their Bright Side breakfast comes with waffles, eggs, fruit, and meat.
Now, that's a game changer.
They've got over 900 locations so you can cover the gridiron.
And best of all, they're part of Wyndham Rewards, so those extra points really add up.
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph. Book direct at lq.com.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 on the FM. Every weekday from noon until 1, it's Talk Football with Coach K. Joe Ford, Coach K, and Eric Vidrine in studio with you, getting you caught up on everything happening in the world of college and professional football, and a lot of great games to look forward to this weekend. And as we get on through the week, we will certainly be looking at those, previewing those, and getting you excited for another week end of outstanding football. 4 games featuring ranked teams. We have 5 versus number 7, 6 versus number 11. Also, a big battle in the Big Ten with Penn State number 10 taking on 17th ranked Iowa as well. So a lot of good football this coming Saturday. Going back to the NFL now that we are through week number 5 of the NFL season, want to do our weekly power rankings. And Coach and Eric both in here as well. I'm guessing no changes at number 1, as they are one of the only 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. The New England Patriots have been number 1 from the start, and I see no reason right now to change it up.
Yeah, enough said. There's no question about it. Patriots number 1.
Patriots number 1 for me as well, fellas.
So number 2, for I think all of us here, the thinking was that well, I know, Coach, you picked the Indianapolis Colts to beat the Chiefs, so that happened. I had the Chiefs at number 2 throughout the season. I'm going to slide them back down to number 3 for the time being. I've been really impressed with what the Green Bay Packers have been able to do, the opponents they've been able to beat. So I have the Packers at number 2 this week.
They certainly could slide in there at number 2, but number 2 is a volatile 2. It could go down very quickly. But the Packers are not an overwhelming football team. They're just not. They're a good football team, border on very good football team, not a great football team.
I got the Chiefs for the simple fact that, 1, they're not at full strength, so that one loss that they have, I'm just going to kind of pretend it didn't happen, especially when they get Tyreek Hill back. That's going to be more of a fair assessment of them moving forward. And as a Packers fan, I appreciate you having them number 2. I wish I could return the favor and put the Jets up there for you, but I'm not going to jeopardize my credibility here. But Chiefs are number 2 for me, bud.
Number 3, I have Kansas City. So again, I'm just sliding them down 1 spot, and I think, for right now the power rankings. I mean, I have to kind of factor in the injuries, and if I looked at right now the strength of the teams right now, I think that the Packers would be favored over the Chiefs, just given kind of the current injury situation. But again, it's very fluid, and nobody in the building overreacts to stuff more than I do. So I'll admit that.
Well, I would number 3. I would not take the Chiefs, and that's not the only game they're going to lose. By the way, they're going to lose a couple of others, but I put the Eagles there. I think Philadelphia, if they don't get Wentz hurt from top to bottom, special teams to defense to offense to coaching, the entire package, if you put the whole package together, I think they're in that top echelon, very top echelon, maybe second. Maybe second. I'd say it's a flip between them and the Packers, maybe.
Yeah, I like that pick. I have them at number 4. 4 for me. Again, I'm with you 100%. They offense didn't really get going against the Jets, but they didn't need to, as that was a blowout really from the first snap there, as the Eagles were able to jump out quickly. 21 points, a couple of defensive scores as well. So I'm with you. I have the Eagles at number 4.
Number 3, I got the Packers. They're only going to get better. Aaron Rodgers still needs to get Devontae Adams back. Number 4, I got the New Orleans Saints. They just keep finding a way to win. And when they get Drew Brees back, the captain of the ship, they're only going to get better as well. So the way that they're able to win right now with Teddy Bridgewater is really impressive to me. So I got to give them their props where it's due at number 4 for the Saints.
Number 4 for you, Coach?
I agree with the Saints. Number 4, I think they jump in there. And again, if they had Breeze, they might be number 2 right now. Number 2 or maybe even number 1.
I have just to get a little ahead of ourselves, I have the Saints out at number 6 because at number 5 I'm gonna show some love to the other undefeated team in the league. We spent a whole segment talking about why they're a really good team, why they're really well built. I realize that there's still probably some limitations, and they're not quite at the level of a Patriots or maybe even a Chiefs, but they're unbeaten and they have shown what they are capable of. So I have the San Francisco 49ers at number 5, and then I have the Saints at number 6.
I also have the 49ers at number 5. I think that's a safe place to put them right there. Remember, they already had their bye week, so they only have 4 wins right now. So I think while everyone else is having some injuries, the injuries are only going to come for the 49ers. Hopefully not, but I do have them at number 5. That's a safe place for me to put them right there.
Okay, where am I at, number 5 or 6?
We're at number 5, Coach.
I think I'd go ahead and put the Chiefs in here at 5.
Okay. Number 6, again, I have the Saints just ahead of the Seahawks here, and really it's because of a head-to-head win at Seattle. So again, the Saints have proven a lot. They're 3-0 since Drew Brees went down, and if you would have told me that they would be 3-0 after the injury, I would say no, not likely to happen. But Teddy Bridgewater has performed very well in his absence, and so yeah, I mean, maybe I have the Saints a little bit too low, but that's where I see it right now. So I have the Saints at number 6.
I got Seattle at number 6, and I think they're only going to get better. The other thing, too, I will add just for extra brownie points here, my MVP pick right now is Russell Wilson. I think he's playing phenomenal football right now. I don't know if y'all saw the next generation stat, but that touchdown pass he threw to Lockett only had a 6% chance of completion. So shout out to Russell Wilson right there. Seattle's my pick at number 6, Coach.
Okay, I'll put the 49ers in now at 6. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, he made some great throws, and I've already given him credit for having a great game. But I think the one that you're talking about, the throw that you're talking about, he was throwing the ball away, and Lockett was there and went up and got it. And
I saw that too. I thought he might be throwing it away, but either way, it was still entertaining by all means.
Yeah,
so.
well, and it's a throw. It's a play that only Russell Wilson would do. Patrick Mahomes for sure, but I mean that play was just vintage Russell Wilson, and just how he's able to show off his escapability and just make something. And I commented to you and Chad is that, I mean, it must be such a miserable feeling. Like, we're all, big fantasy football guys, and it must be such a miserable feeling to have the to have in your starting lineup the defense that Russell Wilson's playing against, because you think you got him, and I didn't. I was just thinking, man, the Rams are a good defense, and Russell Wilson's just running around, and he's just flipping the ball up, and there's some guy there all by his lonesome. I mean, that's just it's so aggravating to play against him. But so Seattle comes in at number 7 for me. I give the Saints the edge there because of the head-to-head win. So Seattle's at number 7.
Number 7 for me is Philadelphia, just because I still need to see a little bit more from them. I don't question their talent. I don't think anybody does question their talent, but just they've been underwhelming at times. And to put them above some of these other one-loss teams right now, I think was a little bit disrespectful to those teams. So I definitely think their trajectory is going up, but I got the Eagles at number 7.
Well, I think it's who do you perceive, given the look at their overall talent, how they play a football game, the coaching, ability to scheme a game. Nobody beats the Patriots there,
right?
For example. But I think, as opposed to some of the other one-loss teams, it's like college football. I have a problem with Clemson being rated number 2 right now. As we sit here today, and we look at college football, you can't tell me Clemson would be favored over any one of the top 4 or 5 football teams. They wouldn't. They just would not if they played on a neutral field. They today, now it may be by the end of the year, right, and they are a great football team. But to rate them number 2 continually based on what they did last year, I think it defeats what we're trying to do. Who's the best right now?
Right.
And that's what I think we're trying to do here. And regrettably, at this point, I have to put the Seahawks in. If I could put them down at number 32, I'd put them at 32. But since we're being somewhat realistic on this, I have to put the Seahawks in.
Number 8 for me, I continue to be amazed at the quality of their defense. And limited on offense, yes, but that is may not be a championship-level defense like we would think about the Bears, for example. But I have the Buffalo Bills at number 8.
I agree with you. I got the Buffalo Bills at number 8. One thing I would like to mention is I do think Josh Allen is a very underrated clutch performer. He always finds a way in the fourth quarter to get his team in position to win, and I think that you always have a fighting chance when you have a guy who could do that for you. So I got the Bills at number 8 also.
I would put the Colts in here. Here's a team that you just look at the things we're talking about and go right down the list, and more coaching really plays a part here.
I'm kind of on that same wavelength with you, Coach. I have the Colts at number 9. Probably the one thing that's just holding me back from kind of flipping the Colts and the Bills would be kind of a bad taste in my mouth from a couple of their losses, notably the one against the Raiders last week. I thought that was a tremendous opportunity to get a win there and kind of get some momentum. But, anytime that you beat the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, you have my attention, so I have the Colts at number 9.
At number 9, I got the Baltimore Ravens. I know they look kind of shaky past couple weeks, but the talent is obviously there. I think they're only going to get better. And thankfully, while they're playing bad, the division isn't playing very good, so they have plenty of time to get it together. So I got the Ravens at number 9.
I've got the Rams at number 9, and I think they're still a good football team. It's just that people get paid to coach. Other people get paid to coach, and they're damn good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And things are catching up with the Rams, so that's the big thing there. And I think the only problem I would disagree on the Ravens, they got a great defense and everything. They don't have a quarterback. They have a running back who's playing a quasi single wing type offense, which is going to be very difficult to project that to carry through an NFL season, not a college season. College is different, but through an NFL season, it's pretty hard to play with a running back at quarterback.
And we saw that last week. Lamar did not look comfortable through 3 interceptions. So I mean, I think fantasy nerds like me love him. But he's got a really good matchup against the Bengals. So he's going to have those type of weeks where it's like, man, he looks really good throwing the football, and then there's going to be those up and down swings with him. Number 10, I have the Rams, Coach. I'm again just one slot behind you on that, but again, coaching, I believe in Sean McVay. I believe in their talent and their ability to right the ship. So give me the Rams at number 10.
At number 10, I know they look kind of bad the past couple weeks, but the talent is there. I like the Dallas Cowboys. Even though they've been playing bad, they're still right there with the Eagles at 3-2, so they still have a chance to win the division. Many people have them and the Eagles being the ones that the division's going to go through. So right now, I got them at number 10.
Okay, I think I'd have to put the Bills in here at 10, just almost 99% because of their defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they will win a number of games this year because of one thing, and that's their defense.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing helping the Bills too is, from a record standpoint, they're 4-1, but they still have 2 games against the Jets and the Dolphins still to go. So you would figure that if they're able to take care of business, that's a minimum of 6 wins. And then, as you're trying to get into the playoff picture, you're probably looking at trying to get, 2 or 3 more. And I don't have their schedule right in front of me, but I think they're looking pretty good to get a wild card spot in the AFC. Final timeout. We'll have a quick segment coming back to wrap up the hour. Talk football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text. Stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Dude, it's game day, and I'm fired up that football is back.
I know, but I'm bummed they don't show my favorite team on TV around here.
All right, well, what about that place Calvert's? They're a really cool English pub-style restaurant, and they have a really good drink menu.
Yeah, but what about the game?
Don't worry, they have the NFL Sunday ticket and plenty of TVs, so we can watch any game that we want.
Ooh, I just looked at the menu, and that Abbey Road burger is calling my name.
Calvert's in the Heights Restaurant and Bar, 3102 East Urbana Street, calvertsintheheights.com.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Lowe's has the supplies pros use most every day. And when the job demands more, we're stocked with the quantities needed for any size job at savings you can count on. Because when you buy in bulk, you'll get 30% off select in-stock insulation and purchase 64 or more sheets of OSB, and you'll also save 10%. Order ahead at lowesforpros.com and we'll have your order ready for pickup. Our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, U.S. only.
Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
Where every day is Saturday, and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change, because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football with Coach K. Last segment of the program. ESPN Pensacola 1330. 99.1 FM. I'm Joe Ford, along with Coach K and Eric Vidrine, wrapping up a Tuesday edition of the program. Gator Talk coming up at the top of the hour. Chad and Eric will be in studio. Big game between the Gators and the LSU Tigers on Saturday night in Death Valley. So we went over our power rankings in the NFL and wanted to have a chance here to look at and name our top 4 teams this season only from what we have seen. And I know that's a huge undertaking, and a lot of people will argue and complain about, they haven't played anybody or they're not any good and all that stuff. But it's
if I might interject, put 5. That fifth choice will be a little more top 5 teams.
Go for it.
Okay.
All right. So Eric, go ahead and rattle off your top 5 at the moment.
Sure. Top 5 at the moment. Got Alabama number 1, Ohio State number 2, Oklahoma number 3, LSU 4, and Clemson finishing out at 5.
Coach?
Okay, I would go certainly Alabama. I think would be number 1.
Okay.
I like right now Ohio State at number 2, and I think the way they're playing LSU at number 3. Georgia at number 4, and Oklahoma at 5.
I think we will have the same top 5, if I'm not mistaken. I have Bama, Ohio State. Okay, I have Georgia number 3.
You got them flip-flop, basically.
Yeah, so I have Georgia number 3, followed by LSU, and then Oklahoma at number 5. So yeah, none of us have Clemson in the top 5. Or
I got Clemson at
5.
At 5.
So Eric is wrong today.
That's fine.
But,
you were wrong last week. I'll take one for the
I
team
know.
this week.
That's right. It can't be me every week. But yeah, it's so important because we talk about preseason polls and how people in college football, it's just a fatal flaw to have preconceived notions about teams. And on the one hand, you can't. Only based on this year, you cannot include Clemson in the top 4. You can't. But if they run the table, you're talking about keeping out a team that's number 1, the defending champion, number 2, a program that's on a 28-game winning streak, heading into the playoff discussion, and it's why we love it, and it's why I hate it.
Well, keep in mind now, some of these teams are going to knock off each other. And the top between Alabama and LSU,
and even Georgia,
Florida and LSU, Florida, Georgia, or Alabama, Georgia in the championship game. So there are going to be a number of these people that are going to get knocked off. And Oklahoma, Texas coming up this weekend could be a knockoff there. So anyway, Clemson will probably get back in.
That'll do it for us here on a Tuesday. Talk football with Coach K every weekday from noon until 1. Gator Talk is next from 1 to 2. Chad and Eric will have all the latest news on the Florida Gators and previewing Florida LSU this Saturday. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. I'm Davis Allen with your sports headlines. The New York Yankees are the first team to advance to the American League Championship Series after completing yet another playoff sweep of the Minnesota Twins. New York's 5-1 victory in Game 3 of the AL Division Series increased their postseason winning streak over Minnesota to 13 games and extended the Minnesota Twins' overall losing streak in playoff games to 16, tying a North American major sports record set by the NHL's Chicago Blackhawks from 1975 to 1979. Gleyber Torres led the Yankees offensively, going 3 for 4 with a solo home run and scoring 3 runs. Didi Gregorius had a pair of RBI singles, while Luis Severino threw 4 scoreless innings. In the National League, both division series are headed to a deciding Game 5 after the St. Louis Cardinals and Washington Nationals staved off elimination. St. Louis rallied to a 5-4 win over the Atlanta Braves in 10 innings, with Yadier Molina tying the game with an RBI single in the 8th inning and later driving in the winning run with a sac fly in the 10th, while Washington got 7 outstanding innings from Max Scherzer as they defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-1 to stay alive. As for the Yankees' ALCS opponent, that remains undecided after the Tampa Bay Rays forced a Game 4 of the series against the Houston Astros, coming through with a 10-3 victory. Former Astro Charlie Morton struck out 9 while limiting his ex-team to 1 run over 5 innings. Tampa Bay hit 3 homers off former Cy Young winner Zach Greinke, including a go-ahead 3-run blast from Kevin Kiermaier in the 2nd inning. In the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers are off to their first 4-0 start since 1990, following a 31-3 rout of the mistake-prone Cleveland Browns. The 49ers joined the Patriots as the NFL's lone remaining undefeated teams through Week 5 and will visit Los Angeles on Sunday for a showdown with the reigning NFC champion Los Angeles Rams. I'm Davis Allen with your sports headlines for ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
On Wednesday at the Cat Country 98.7 News Radio ESPN studios, we're going to host Cookout for a Cure.
Pensacola Egg Fest is cooking. The meats are provided by the butcher shop, and we got beans and coleslaw coleslaw provided by Sonny's Barbecue.
Buffalo Rock Pepsi stepped up to do the drinks, and all of the proceeds, 100% of it, will be donated to the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk and the American Cancer Society in an effort to help increase the survival rate of women with breast cancer.
Please order your plate now at catcountry987.com.
Don't you hate scrambling on the road when you're looking for a place to spend the night?
We all do. That's why when you travel for work, stay at La Quinta by Wyndham.
They've got everything you need to tackle the job, from free high-speed Wi-Fi to a spacious workspace right in your room.
Plus, their Bright Side breakfast comes with waffles, eggs, fruit, and meat.
Now, that's a game changer.
They've got over 900 locations so you can cover the gridiron.
And best of all, they're part of Wyndham Rewards, so those extra points really add up.
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph. Book direct at lq.com.
When you're juggling multiple things just to get the job done, sometimes equipment on your work site sits idle, or will be used for something else, like your skid steer being used as a bird bath, or your excavator becoming a back scratcher. But idle equipment costs you and your work site time and money, which is why United Rentals is combining equipment, data, safety, and expertise to help your work site perform better. To learn more, visit unitedrentals.com.
And welcome in to Go Gators right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. I am Chad Brilliante alongside an old group right here. You know, things happen in life. People move, and it always is a small world, though. Sometimes it's not. If you live in, like, New Guinea, I probably will never see you again. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like one of those villages, that guy who moves to the middle of Kenya, not going to ever see you unless it's on Facebook. But, you know, it's funny because you run into people all the time, but it's like deja vu when Eric Vidrine, Jeffrey D. sitting in here about 4 or 5 years ago on the old ESPN station. We were, sitting up, kicking our feet back, throwing like a college fraternity party. Jeff would come in, and I remember the Snapple and the Munchies and all that. It's an actually brand, by the way. It's not with the kids out there in college, but it was a lot of fun. And getting the Gator Show in here today, I'm sitting around looking at you guys. And I know in the sports drive we've had that opportunity, but just to see all sitting around here. Pretty cool, to get to do this show, because in the hustle and bustle of life, in moving all week long, which I will never do that again without hiring a moving company. My back is telling me that. 16 U-Haul trucks is telling me that. Not sleeping for 3 days. But overall, though, getting to sit down and even get to talk some Gator football for an hour with you guys is a lot of fun, and looking forward to doing it. So, guys, go Gators. How about that win? Hosted an Alabama show yesterday, and I'm like, well, what do you want to say outside of it was a bye week, you were rested, which means that's even worse for Texas A&M, and you're going to win this game by probably 50. Roll Tide. And that could have been the whole show. I mean, that pretty much sums up Alabama. Today in the show, with the Gators, a lot of questions, because College Game Day, the excitement, the Jeffrey D. sign. You had it out there with Jeff, his 60th birthday. Sorry to age you, Jeff. I was there, so I know.
That's okay. I looked on Amazon. I didn't see one for sale. I'm going to have to get with you and see what I got to do to get one of those signs, because that was a nice piece of work. It was very creative.
I mean, we could get people enough with that sign.
We could make that happen. It looked so professional. If you looked at the bottom right of that photo he sent, it said, like, at the real Jeff D. Like, I was like, goodness gracious, where can I find this sign?
And not only that, guess what? Gators are back this week at College Game Day. Now, it's on their home.
Which is going to be the third College Game Day for the Gators, because the Miami-Florida game was
UCF claimed half that, so you guys got 130. Exactly. It was UCF, Miami, and Florida, since you were.
Y'all claimed the parade.
We claimed it. We claimed things. That's what we're like. We're like the old explorers, like Magellan and Columbus. Like, we just claimed that. We won. LSU beat Utah State. We're claiming 1/5 of it. We're just going to take over Louisiana Purchase. That's what we do. But let's get to the Gators. It was a big win. It was a win, though, that, it wasn't a dominant win where you look at the game of some of the old school Gator teams with Tebow that you won 45-6. And probably we're not going to see that. But this team getting C.J. Henderson, getting some of those guys back up front like Zuniga, that is a complete defense. I heard you guys, and a great job with Talk Football with Coach K. You know, I know a lot of people down here, if you're a football fan, X's and O's. And today, more people want to know if guys like Tristan Thompson are dating one of the Kardashians. It's pretty sad. A lot of people, just want to hear those gossip stories. TMZ's on once in a while, so check it out. But at the same time, the X's and O's of you guys, Eric, Coach, Joe, I was driving back from Gulf Breeze and listening to you guys, just A-plus job, because that was some good insight on the game and the development of Southern players and some of the guys on defense. And looking forward to doing that today with the Gators. So, Eric, kudos to you, and
Thank you,
happy to have you as part of the team. Jeff, I want to get into a little Gator football. You were there. First off, let's start with sort of one of the TMZ type stories, and we'll get that out of the way. The water bottles into the game. Now, did that thing go, or did that backfire into the concession stands lost thousands in beer and liquor revenue? Because everybody was allowed one water bottle into the game, correct?
Yeah, I didn't notice that. To be honest,
you didn't see that?
Because I didn't take a water bottle into the game. But I'm sure it was scorching hot, especially if you're on the east side of the stadium or in either end zone. Mm-hmm. You had to wait until midway through the third quarter for the heat, the oppressive heat to end. So the students who were on the east side hung in there, and to their credit, they didn't get there early. They kind of got there in the 10 minutes before the game started. You could see them all streaming into the stadium. But I wouldn't be surprised at that. I haven't even read that. But they did have guys walking around selling water, and it was very necessary.
Eric, when you look at the game from an outside, you're the perfect outsider for this game because you were raised in Louisiana as an LSU fan, and then you went to Florida State. So a perfect mixture of why you could pick either side, Auburn or Florida, to be like, ugh. But you get to watch it and take it all in. In this game, I was out actually at the UWF Argo Walk. It was their homecoming, so we were out there having some fun, and I was checking the scores. We were actually giving the updates, and you could hear people booing. And a guy walked up and said, "Go Blue," when Michigan won against Iowa. And I said, "How'd you look against Army?" And I didn't realize I was still on the mic. But overall, it was funny. Everybody laughed. But when you look right now at that game, did you feel like Florida's taking that next step? Because they want to beat Georgia right now. Everybody, you got to set your limitations and your expectations. The Denver Nuggets wanted to be Golden State. You're a fan of basketball.
Oh, yes,
you can't just because you got one guy say we're better than you now. You got to baby steps. You got to choose.
Right.
And right now, for Florida, they want to beat Georgia. They're not talking national title. They're not talking. They want to be able to beat Georgia and be at that level to reclaim the East that they had for over a decade, like Auburn wants to do against LSU and against Alabama. Did you see any sign that in that victory that they're getting to the likes of a Georgia, or are we still maybe jumping ship? And, well, we don't have to wait long because we'll find out a lot more real quick when they play LSU this week.
Yeah, that's a good question, and this is actually part of why I was so excited for Jeff to come in, is because what I saw in this ball game, I thought Florida, first things first, game ball to Swain, because, dear Jesus, that guy was unstoppable. But what I saw
He's the Swain event.
He's there he is. Yeah, I like what you did there. What I saw in this ball game, for the most part, I felt Florida completely controlled the game. The only moment where I thought it might get in trouble was when it was 17-13 and Auburn was moving before the interception. I thought that might be the only time Auburn had their chance.
What interception? No.
So, yeah, which one, right? But everything I said so far in this season has held true. I said that I'm not 100% sure that Bo Nix is the guy that everyone's making him out to be. I truly don't believe they should have beat Oregon. And I told you at the beginning of the year I thought Florida was going to split one of these games between Auburn and LSU. So I guess that kind of is a spoiler alert for what I think is coming up this weekend. But I thought Florida completely outplayed Auburn, and everything that I said was going to happen has happened. Trask looked the part. The big run was just the nail in the coffin at the end. And what I guess my question to Jeff is, what I sensed from watching that football game was how excited that football stadium was. I get the sense that the fans understand how close they are to taking that next step. And I think that is exactly why so many people were so excited for this ball game against Auburn. So my question to Jeff is, do you sense that the fans can tell that they are very close to knocking on that door to taking that next step?
I think so. I think the fans know that this is a good football team. Maybe not a great football team, but a good football team. And we we had a similar crowd last year for LSU, but not quite the magnitude of this one. This one had an energy level not seen since the 90s.
And I noticed that. I saw that. I thought it was very, very impressive.
It was loud the entire time. You know, and that really, there's a lot of people that said, you know what, I'm going to pick Florida in this game because 18-year-old quarterback for Auburn, noise level incredible. You know, first
add me to the list. That was me.
It's not like A&M, 100,000 people. But the noise level is not nearly what it is at the Swamp.
And here's the thing, too. The AP and Coaches poll both have Florida. And Gator fans, you can weigh in at 623-1330. Florida fans, this is your time right now. Look, in about 4 days, it might be different. We might be saying if you go out there and get shellacked by LSU, the conversation of Florida will take a back page, the ESPN Ocho on College Football Game Day. Right now, it's your turn. You had Florida State, you had Alabama, teams in this area with byes. Everybody's talking about Florida. That was your week. Everybody gets to capture a week. Game day was there. You are the ones that everybody is talking about. And embrace it. I mean, you've been there before. You know, UCF fans didn't know what to do when we won fake national titles and things. So, and some of the people, not me, but other people, just took it way out of control. I never say a word. But overall, wink. But the Florida fans, you've been there, done that. From the 90s with Spurrier, from the 2000s with Tebow, but it's been a while. I mean, the reality is it's been a while. And now, all of a sudden, nobody cares about the Georgia Southern jokes and Will Muschamp. Nobody's talking about Shark Week and Jim McElwain. Everybody's talking about Dan Mullen was the right guy. He was the guy that, remember, if Chip Kelly would have got one more phone call and wanted to come one more time on the plane tracker, the Kelly plane tracker, it seemed every week. I remember Jeff and I, hey, just stopped at the airport right down there. Like, if that would have happened, I don't think you would be seeing this. The emotion. Dan Mullen is perfect for what college football has become today. Old school coaches have a hard time adjusting to the kids. I talked to Coach K. Stevenson, and it's an honor to have an opportunity to talk to an NFL coach with the knowledge each and every day. I was showing him some old cards like Sonny Jorgensen and some of these guys, and he was like, played with half of them, coached some of them. It was pretty cool to see. But Coach K knows that back in the day, people were more structured, disciplined. It was more of a military type style. You had one guy in command, you listened to him, and if it wasn't the way that you wanted it, tough apples. Today, kids are emotional, and Dan Mullen is one of those kind of guys, the Gator Grill Out, the Fortnite, the way that he does things on Twitter, the way after the game, the win was huge, but him up in the stands jumping around with the fans, there's only very few coaches in all of college football that would have done that. I mean, start laughing if you think George O'Leary would have done that. Imagine the face at some of these other coaches seeing them do that. But that works today. That sells. That
Players
brands.
take notice.
They love that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Willie Taggart would do that if they had more of those chances. But, I mean, if
we just don't have many reasons to do those things.
Right. But with all that being said, real quickly, I just want to say that this is Florida's week. And, Jeff, I wanted to get to this because we talked about being back. The 6 teams ahead of them right now in the polls are the 6 teams that the rest of the country are putting in that college football playoff right now in a different mixture. I know there's 4 spots, but LSU, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama are the 6 teams ahead of Florida. And all 6 teams, to the eyes of the beholder across the country, and the public, the media, have deemed those 6 teams as actual national title contenders. So the only people ahead of Florida right now, and they play one of them this week, are the teams that everybody and their mama says is a national title contender. And people are still thinking, I want to see a little more from Florida. So they've already skimmed through all the roughness of being compared to the Utahs, the Washingtons, everybody else, and now it's only up from this point. If they can go out there and win, they're now in that realm, and they're back. And that is pretty cool to see. As a Florida fan, the excitement, Jeff, it's only national title contenders ahead of them.
Well, you know, in early in the season, people are going like, well, Florida didn't look like a top 10 team. And they're like, well, you got to go back and look to see how many teams that are better than they are before you make that comment. And there's definitely 6 teams that look stronger than the Gators. But after that, the Gators are right in that mix of the next, 6 or 8 teams that could be 7, 8, 9, or 10. I don't think the Gators are ready to move into that elite group yet. The offensive line is just not good enough. As you saw, Auburn was able to put some pressure on Trask, force him into 3 strip sacks. And that was one of my worries going into the game, that Trask would fumble. One of the problems is that Trask hasn't played much, and they don't allow him to get hit in practice because they're afraid he's going to get hurt. So they don't let a 300-pound guy, bounce on him in practice. So he's not used to that kind of collision. Hopefully he'll get better at that as time goes by. But, Eric mentioned Swain and having a great day. A lot of that's just Dan Mullins matching it up with the defense. The Gators have enough quality wide receivers that you have to allow them to have one guy that's covered by a linebacker. They've got, you could tell that Auburn was taking away Jefferson and Grimes, and then they had to put a corner on Kyle Pitts. He was the tight end who was flanking out. He's a 6'6" matchup problem. So there's 3 guys you had to pay attention to, and so they were letting Swain and Hammond kind of run free in the slot, and linebackers aren't going to cover those guys. So I thought that I remember Danny Werfel saying one time, it's like, well, the reason we won in '96 was because we had too many wide receivers that were high quality for the other team to cover. I think that's a matchup problem for the Gators this week because LSU's got quality cover guys.
And we're going to talk some more about the LSU game. We're going to hear from Coach Dan Mullen. The Florida Gators show is brought to you by the Holman Law Firm. Father's rights, because the best parents are both parents. Stephen and Justin, who were at the game. I know. I'm not sure if the whole group.
I saw Stephen, as a matter of fact, that game day.
Okay. Did you see Hal and everybody? Was he?
I
did
not
the
see
trip?
Hal, but he was there.
Yeah. Come on, you didn't in a crowd of 100,000. You just didn't see all the Pensacola folk. Come on, Jeff. Let's pick up.
You need a bigger sign.
That's right. Bigger sign.
Exactly.
Jeff, I'm right here, just with the arrow drop. They know exactly. Well, at least when you're holding a Jeffrey D sign, I would hope and pray that the people understand that would probably be you and not like some guy from Opelika, coming down there with it. Just saying. If they are, you might have some. You're going to be on like one of those catfish shows because you've got a stalker. Looking at the number, free consultation 850-316-8243. The Holman Law Firm, proud sponsors of the Florida Gators.
This is a message for all parents. If you as an adult think it's tough being separated or divorced, have you truly stopped to consider how your being separated or divorced affects your children? How parents treat one another, either during or after divorce, can have lifelong effects on your children. Whether you are separated from your spouse or even actually divorced, in either situation, keep in mind that you and your spouse are parents forever. Hello, my name is Stephen T. Holman, and I am a family law attorney. If you have questions regarding custody, visitation, or child support, call me today for a free consultation at 435-6909. That's 435-6909.
Locally owned ADX Communications, the home of Cat Country 98.7, News Radio 92.3, 1620 AM, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM.